we're here. I'm scared.
Ben.
Whoop. The biggest question is going to be the overall weight. Dun, dun, dun. The moment of truth. And then step 3, mentally prepare yourself for these numbers to come in.
What does that mean?
What? Okay, so I'm really actually very, very scared about today because today we're going to take redemption. Hopefully it doesn't become a paradox, but we are taking our RV over to this cat scale for its real first weigh in since we've added everything that we know we are going to travel with, our lithium batteries, everything is set and ready to go. But before we take off on that first trip, we need to make sure that we are not overweight. And honestly, you guys, this RV has some things our other one didn't have. And depending upon what the cat scale says, it may mean we have some serious conversations about what stays and what goes. So let's load her up.
But first, I need to get it hooked up, and I'm gonna see if I can do this by myself because I picked up a camera that is a side view camera that hooks up to the auxiliary on the truck so I can actually see the truck coming up to the ball so I can line things up properly. I don't always have somebody out here helping me out. So.
This summer we may or may not, just because of what our travel schedule is going to look like, and there'll be more on that to come. So y'all definitely want to subscribe, but
yeah.
All right, go
let's see
get
if
her
it
done.
Works. Sometimes I forget how long this truck is. Turning this thing around takes a little bit. Lined up. So what I use is the middle backrest to kind of line things up. And then I'm gonna switch to this side view camera. Basically, I just tap this and then go to, I believe it's this, yeah, auxiliary camera. And now you can see the side camera. So you should be able to see it rolling right up to the, you can't see if it's in the center or not, but you can see like how close you are to it. So about right there. Let's see. Put on the brake before I let off the e-brake. Charity's sitting over there, not helping at all. Oh, look at that. Look at that. So now I can drop it down. Pin.
Don't forget to take the lock off.
Yep, got to take the lock off first. It's a little lock to lock the hitch so nobody can drive off with it. I mean, it's not a necessary thing, but just makes you feel better that somebody just can't hook up and leave. Okay, here's the camera that I just ran back there underneath the truck, and then here's the side view from it, which is nice. It lined it right up.
Ben.
Whoop. There's that thing.
You ran it over.
Son of a biscuit. Well, darn, guys. I completely bent it. So it's broken 2 spots right there and right there. It's the only downside of this thing.
We have to remember to put it away.
Yeah, that sucks. Well, at least it doesn't hurt the truck. Apparently I'm gonna need to redo my process a little bit. When I do put the steps on, I'm basically, as soon as I'm done hooking everything up or disconnecting, I'll take the steps out, put them back in the truck. Don't do what I did, guys. Or actually, one other thing is like, do the driver's side last, to where before you get in the door, you'll notice them on the rear tire. But thing is just to make sure you, as soon as you're done, put them away. Don't do what I did. Idiot. Are the wheels twisted or not?
Can't tell.
Not really twisting like they used to.
All right, guys, we're here. I'm scared. So Ben is bringing up the Weigh My Truck app.
Got the location confirmed.
So that's like the first thing you want to do is download the Weigh My Truck app, super easy app. When we use this when we were driving our Class A as well. So then you want to slowly pull onto the cat scale, but our scenario where we're towing, you want to make sure that each axle is on a different section of the scale. So you'll see each part of the scale has like sections. And that is where, for us, we're going to be able to get the weight of the pin weight. Basically, we want to know the weight that is over the rear axle. That's important for us to know and important for you to know if you're towing. But also then we need to get the whole weight of the trailer, which we'll get to that in a minute. So step one, you pull slowly on, make sure that everything is on the right sections of the scale.
Okay, so our steer axle is 5,140 pounds.
That's of course fine.
Drive axle is 7,100. Trailer axle is 11,640. Gross is 23,880.
I don't know how these numbers are going to stack up. So the next thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to go drop the trailer and weigh the truck by itself. Now, I think if I remember correctly, and I'm going to check the label on the door of the truck in a minute, I think we had 7,500 pounds that would be our max weight on the rear axle that would be like allowable. So we're closer than what we were the last time that we did this with the other RV, but we're still within spec on that. So far so good on that part. The biggest question is going to be the overall weight. And then step 3, mentally prepare yourself for these numbers to come in. Probably higher than most of y'all think. And then in the meantime, while we go drop this trailer, let me know, because I feel like that there's 2 camps of RVers that tow. I feel like camp 1, load it up, pray for the best. We're going to stick our head in the sand. We don't know how much we weigh. Camp 2, you're going to check and then you're going to adjust if you find out you weigh too much. So let me know what camp you're in. Are you just like head in the sand? It'll all be okay or not? So now we have to drop the trailer and go weigh just the truck. I just ran inside to tell these guys that that's what we were doing, because the last time we came here, they were a little bit scared that we were just like dropping the trailer and leaving it or something, which again, I think is, anyway, whatever. Like, you're just gonna dump your RV, right? They charge for like overnight parking here, and so I think they just wanted to make sure we weren't like, I don't know, abandoning it, which there's no way we're abandoning this at all. So I just went in and let them know. We will disconnect and go weigh the truck, and then you guys, dun, 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 the moment of truth.
Might need a block under that one. All right, pulling back up and gonna do the reweigh. All right, hop on. Oh, you're adding to the weight.
Well,
okay.
Not too worried about that. Okay, so what's the
Verifying information, finalizing weightment.
Oh,
Do
Lord.
not pull out the scale. All right, 88.20.
88.20 minus 23.8?
23,500 minus 88.20.
Somebody faster.
14,680. What does that mean?
What? No.
Huh? What does that mean?
14,680?
Yeah.
That means we have 320 pounds for closing food.
We've got some explaining to do.
So we realized as we were going through this video and kind of watching it back that the numbers were wrong and that they were off. And long story short, what had happened was...
Well, when I was using the Weigh My Truck app, I was pulling up some previous weigh-ins when looking at some of the other PDFs, and it was from the other
So
older
the
RV
Weigh My
Bandit.
Truck app stores all of your history, because it's like you log in, right? This is your history. And so when Ben went to go grab the gross vehicle weight from the weigh-in, it was grabbing the weight that was from our previous weigh-in in December, not the current weigh-in, because it didn't like save to the app right away. It takes like overnight. So we realized that we were off. And if you do the math, you go back and you watch the original number and then the number that came in, you will see we realize we actually are overweight by about 60 pounds. So stay till the end. We're going to tell you what our plan is. And that's after all the mods.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I literally thought we were going to have a serious conversation about what we were going to ditch.
That is sweet. I was worried about with the batteries and stuff, and then adding the MoRide crossbars.
Yeah.
I thought those were really going to add the weight, plus the storage box.
There was so much that I feel like we added. Yeah. And then here's the other thing. Washer, dryer.
Yep.
Generator.
Yeah, there's a lot. The hitch is heavier, obviously.
Yeah. But Ben's letting the tailgate down. You know, we're over here stressing about weight. And one of the things that I was a little bit stressed about was like if we were overweight, right? Like what were we gonna do? The other thing is we have 2 electric XP lights. Now, the nice thing about those bikes, you guys, is they're only 49 pounds with the battery. So if you took out the battery, the battery weighs 7 pounds, and they're 42 pounds. So it's like why we're over here just thinking about every little like pound, right? Like that can be a thing. And so that's why we like the XP lights, is just because they're very lightweight. What we are doing now with this RV is we're able to fold them because they fold in half, and then they fit in a tub, and then we're just putting them in the RV. And that was another question we had, is that if we didn't have the weight in the RV, then we were going to look at how would we maybe put them in the truck bed, because again, they're very compact and foldable. But guess what? If 49 pounds a piece, we won't have to worry about being able to put them in the RV. So Electric is having some great sales, so you definitely want to head over to their website. We'll have a link in the description below. Electric. All summer long, they've got some great sales that are going on. You've got all the, like, you know, your 4th of July, all that stuff's kind of coming up. So we absolutely love our electric bikes for RV life. It makes things so much more convenient, whether you're just riding on the campground or maybe like, you know, this truck is not easy to park. There's been a lot of times where it's like, you know what, just let's jump on the e-bikes and ride over to the town or to the grocery store or something like that too, if you don't have to park in the North 40 with the big truck. So anyway, info below. Just wanted to share a little bit about that, because that's another piece of the equation when you're talking about all of the weight and stuff like that. So, oh my gosh, this is a huge stress relief, babe.
Yes, no kidding.
Although I will say, what did we say? 320 or 380 pounds? Easy.
Yeah, 380. I didn't line it up correctly. I gotta line it up right.
We're not experts. First of all, we're not experts by any stretch. The other thing is, we're definitely not experts when it comes to the fifth wheel, you guys. We're still rookies. We're still newbies. So if you've got all of the tips and tricks, leave them below for us, because we can definitely, we could use all the help we could get as we, you know, learn more about fifth wheel life.
Put these on a rope like the firefighters do, so you can quickly just grab them both.
So you look like one of those old farmers with the toothpick in your mouth.
Say what?
We are at this like truck stop, but they have this like cafe, so we decided we would go eat lunch in there. Ben asked the waitress if they see a lot of truckers in here, because it is kind of like this little truck stop. I say truck stop loosely because we're like off of this, you know, like county highway, you know, kind of in Florida rural area. And she said no, not a lot of truckers, but it did seem like it was a lot of the old retired, you know, probably used to be farmers or whatever that were in there. But now that we have it weighed, we know our numbers, you know, and I think honestly, like every RVer kind of gets to this point. You start adding these things, right? Like especially, you know, us, mods, upgrades, the just in case items you throw in your RV. And now that we know our numbers, like the other thing too is that we don't have anything in the tanks. Like we made sure that the tanks were completely empty, like completely empty. So we don't have any fresh water. And that weighs 8-ish pounds per gallon.
And we won't put much water in, maybe like a third max.
So if we're gonna start adding more accessories, we're gonna start adding more things, then we need to think about, okay, what can like leave in its place? And we've talked about maybe a few things that might come in the future of things that we could do to put the RV on a diet. Weight reduction. At this point, we don't know for sure where that's gonna land yet, but it does help to know the numbers. We know that we're good still on like the truck weight, which that was, you know, something that we wanted to make sure that we weren't causing damage to our truck, because that obviously is expensive.
I could put a few things in the truck that we have.
We did talk about that. There's a few things like the Hughes auto former is really, really heavy.
I'll put that in the truck.
That could go in the truck instead of the RV. That
The
would
water stuff probably
reduce
could fit in here
a little bit.
The water softener, if we're gonna bring that in the filter.
Yeah. Okay, so as we are going through the RV, there's basically like a couple 100 pounds, right? Like the good news is that we weren't over by like several 100 pounds. We're over by 60 pounds, right? So we're going through, we're looking at, okay, what did we have in the truck toolbox maybe that's just not 100% necessary? And then we're going through the RV and thinking about what is just 100% not necessary. And so, you know, the saying of death by 1,000 cuts, that's really kind of what we feel like is probably going on. There's nothing like one big glaringly obvious thing. Well, there is, but I'm not willing to give up the washer dryer. So we're going through all of just the little things. So a couple of things that kind of are realizing, like, you know, can start to add up are just the little things that you carry, the just in case items, which we've kind of talked about in other videos. So one thing that I remembered that we've got that we're going to get rid of. So this is our old Camco water pressure regulator. You can see it's seen better days. But the new one that they just came out with is much lighter weight. It's plastic, not metal. And it's a 90-degree angle. So the nice thing about this is you can just hook it up like to where your fresh water comes in. And you don't have to worry about like hooking it up every time that you hook up your water to campground. You can just connect right into this. It's adjustable right here. And then with the 90-degree angle. So we will put this in the leave at home pile. And then, you know, just miscellaneous other things too. You know, it's like, do we really need two things that do the same thing? No. One thing that I am thankful for is like the Evo Flex hoses. So these Evo Flex hoses are super, super lightweight, don't take up a lot of space. We actually have a couple and we'll keep the couple we have just because these are lightweight. They don't hardly weigh anything at all. So the one thing that I love about the Evo Flex 2 hoses is these are kind of like the 0G hoses when that hose technology first kind of came out, where it's like the lay flat and then it expands. But these are also kink resistant, break resistant, and they have the antimicrobial so that you don't have to worry about like, you know, bacteria and stuff like that building up inside of these hoses. And then we do still use the Camco Taste Pure water filter. So we will put this at the actual like spigot part when we get to a campground, and we will filter all of the water through this before that we run it through our secondary drinking water filters and things like that. Camco is running just some summer specials, spring specials, things like that. Basically, you want to get to the fun faster, right? It's kind of our motto when we go and we set up. So taking a look at what we've got with our water setup and everything like that. We'll have links in the description below, just because we're really thankful for these types of tools. Especially, I'm really excited about this gadget here. So we're going to keep going through. We're going to keep doing some weight reduction, and then you want to subscribe because, well, we'll update you later on what we figure out here.
So we've got a bird's nest in our hitch. And I went to put my hand in there and
The bird
fluttered
what
away.
If he's got babies?
Is he still in there?
No, he flew away, but he's gonna come back.
But so did he ride in there with us?
That's what I'm wondering.
Is he in there still?
No, he flew away.
Is there babies in there?
But what if there's eggs?
I don't know, let's look. See if there's any eggs in there. They like the Gen Y hitches apparently. I know, I feel bad destroying this. He has spent a lot of time in here working on this.
We're gonna have to come up with like a...
Can we move him, relocate him? Will he be able to sniff out his new location?
Maybe put it in one of those trees over there. I don't know.
Yeah, let's see. Because he worked hard on this nest.
Put it in that tree over there, but...
Yeah, so let's put it in here. Hey, bird. Hey, your nest is over here. Sorry about that. We just can't take you to with us.
What we should do is, do you still have some of that screen material for when we had the squirrels in the attic? Maybe you could put it right...
Screen it?
Well, you know, like right here though. In this blank space.
This shouldn't be an issue. But...
So there's a few things we could do to rearrange a few things to gain us a little bit more capacity. But I feel like it's important to know your numbers. This is really new for us because when we had our Class A, we didn't have to worry about any of this. And so if you're wondering, why did we even switch then from the Class A to the fifth wheel? Well, we talk about that all about in this video right here.
Hey, you're covering me up.
So, no, right here. We'll see you over there.